And it goes a little something like.
I'll keep love you warm all summer and after fall. I'll keep you warm all summer and after fall. I'll keep love.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the SkolNBolts Podcast. A little different, coming at you on a different day. Second episode in, the week span. A little more serious discussion today. Cactus, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Had the day off, so
Very nice.
Straight chilling, man. Like I told you the other day, I go to work tomorrow, then I have off Sunday and Monday.
Hell yeah.
So I get to watch football.
Friday is my early day, so it was nice to get out at 2 o'clock, and now I'm here, and me and Cactus were talking. We have to talk about what happened last night during the Thursday game. I'm sure most of you already know and saw what happened, but we talked about on the Wednesday show Tua and the game last week. Now, Cactus, you immediately knew what happened. I didn't see it live, so I believed when everyone was saying, like, oh, it's just his back.
No way.
Right. And then I saw the footage, and it was like, no, definitely not. And
I mean, like I said, you can't really tell him. If he's telling you it's his back, how, you know what I mean? Like, on such a short notice while in the game,
right.
Like, if he's, I don't know. I feel like if I were a trainer and the player is, yelling at, I don't think he was yelling at him, but you would assume that he's kind of amped up, whatever, and he's just like, I'm good, put me back in, I'm good. And if he's just, if he's adamant on it, then what are you going to do?
Right. I guess for me, it's a little, like, it comes down to more, instead of the trainers, they're supposed to be medical professionals in that tent with them as well.
He didn't even go into the tent.
That's absurd, if that's true, because I didn't see it live.
He didn't go to the tent. He went straight to the locker room.
So, where is this concussion protocol then?
Yeah, so I was watching Pat McAfee, and they were talking about the concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like a player got his head hit hard. The rule is to, stop play, and they have to check on him,
Yep.
And it didn't really seem like they did that. It seemed like he was like, it's my, obviously he said it's my back, and so they just went to the locker room for his back, and then we're like, all right, cool, you're good, bye.
And what's crazy is if you watch the playback, obviously you see him stumble the first time and fall down to his knees. When he gets back up, he never reaches for his back. He immediately reaches for his head. And then stumbles again.
Yeah, like a half hour ago, I was watching Shannon. What's his name? Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. Skip.
And Shannon said he hit the nail on the head. He said, when Sterling Shepard tore his ACL, what did he grab? His knee.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't grab his head. He didn't grab his arm. He didn't grab some random body part that doesn't have any pain. Because when you get hurt, what's the first thing you go to grab?
Right,
the thing that's hurting.
Yeah, it's like an involuntary reaction.
Exactly. You could I can't say there's no one out there that might do that, but 9 times out of 10, your instant reaction is to be, let me go, do whatever, feel the pain. Like, yeah. Where's the pain? That's where it is. So what can I do?
Yep, exactly. And, there was a lot of controversy surrounding that and him coming back and finishing the game. And, that was kind of just the talk of that whole game afterwards. Now, are you familiar with Chris Nowinski at all? Have you heard that name?
No.
Okay.
Last name kind of sounds familiar, but I can't place it with anything.
So he's a former professional wrestler, like way back in the day, and I know he had some concussion issues, and it ended up on him on this journey. I don't know his whole backstory, but eventually, I believe he got a PhD in that kind of research, and now he's like a leading spokesman and works with all different sports and the players and all that, and working with athletes to educate them about concussions and the seriousness. And there was a tweet yesterday that it's kind of eerie looking at it now. This was before the game. The NFL tweeted out, their little, hype up. It's like Tua versus Burrow, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I have the tweet here. He quote tweeted it, and he said, "If Tua takes the field tonight, it's a massive step back for concussion care in the NFL. If he has a second concussion that destroys his season or career, everyone involved will be sued and should lose their jobs, coaches included. We all saw it. Even they must know this isn't right." Now you fast forward to about, an hour or two later. Everyone who saw that play with Tua, that was scary.
When his arms seized up like that,
it's terrifying. I watched that play live. I was watching it at the time, and it was a nasty tackle to begin with. Like, I couldn't believe they didn't throw the flag because he was basically suplexed onto the ground. Like, I don't know where the line is drawn for protecting the quarterback, but
the tackle didn't. I think he hit the ground hard, but it didn't look like a.
I'll rephrase it. He didn't he wasn't picked up.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Derwin James when he tackled Kelsey, that was a suplex.
Yeah, for sure.
Not exactly, you know what I mean. But
yeah.
It didn't look. I don't know. It looked bad, but the tackle didn't look horrific.
No, it wasn't horrific. It was just a very hard slam I was surprised it wasn't flagged, though, because I've seen a lot less flagged when it comes to the quarterback. You know what I mean? I've seen them throw the flag for a lot less.
Dude, his season's done.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Donald Parham last year when it was against the Chiefs Chargers, and he hit the ground and his arms were just frozen in air. And it was like that for, 30 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come back the whole season. And I think he had the concussion issue all the way up until close to training camp.
Right.
He's not playing again this season. There's no way.
There's no way, because during the broadcast of the game, they didn't have him on air, but I think it was Al Michaels relayed that one of the NFL specialists, whatever his position is, was informing them that the way his hands, contorted the way they did and froze up like that, so that was a neurological reaction to significant brain trauma or neck trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact is, this is 5 days, or 4 or 5, 5 days after the controversy of the first concussion.
It's too much of that's too quick of a turnaround. I mean,
too quick, yeah.
I remember, I think I mentioned it the other day. I remember, back in the day when someone would get a concussion on a Sunday, it was almost a given that they were playing next Sunday.
Right, and that was prior to what they know now.
Yeah, there was a slight chance he might not, but odds are he was gonna.
Yeah,
and that's Sunday to Sunday, but that's just too quick.
Yeah, it's insane that he was even playing, and it's so unfortunate to see the fact that this happened, and like you said, there's no way he should play again this season. Who knows, how serious this is as far as his career goes. Now, there's some good signs for sure. He was taken to a level 1 trauma center, and he was released, which I was a little surprised. Yeah. I figured they'd keep him overnight at least for observation.
He went with the team too.
Yeah. I read a couple hours ago, he returned to the stadium in a neck brace, and he flew home with the team, which was very surprising. I thought for sure that they would keep him overnight at least. But that's
a good sign.
It's a very encouraging sign, absolutely. Now, Miami, that does not mean that he should fucking play next week. Like, let's get that straight right now. There is no I don't care that he was released and flew home with the team. Do not fucking dare play that man next weekend.
Breaking news.
And
Tua has been ruled active.
And the crazy thing is, this is very reminiscent of 2017. I don't know if you remember this play. Again, it was the Dolphins. Do you remember Matt Moore, the quarterback?
Oh yeah.
You remember the play against Pittsburgh where he got smacked in the head?
Yep.
It's very similar. The dude couldn't stand up for 2 minutes and was out for one play. One play. So it's like, I'm not, saying, Miami has this great history of doing this, but I mean, that's two big instances right there of a quarterback who shouldn't have been in there.
I don't mean to it's Matt Moore, but that doesn't excuse the thought of human health.
Exactly.
That's it's horrible, man. I mean,
it is. I think Joe Burrow said it best in his post-game interview. He said, yeah, we're all competing, but at the end of the day, we're all athletes and we're all humans, and we don't want this kind of stuff to happen to each other. And
it's just life-altering.
It is. And, I mean, you've mentioned it before that when you played football back in the day, you have had a history with concussions. How many have you had approximately, did you say?
I think I've had like 9.
That's a pretty significant amount, I feel.
Yeah, I mean the first one was bad. And you remember those drills where it's just you and a person, you're laying on the ground, and then when the whistle you got to get up. You just got to get up and go.
Yep.
And the dude I went against like 3 or 4 times in a row smacked me in my head each time.
Yeah.
The first time I was like, oh shit. Okay, I'm good. Let's go. Let's do it again. Second time I had to like sit there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right, you're good. Third time I couldn't get up right away. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, okay, something's going on here. Yep. And I don't know why my dumb ass was like, let's go one more time. My ass was fucking laid out on the ground. They had to like pick me up and bring me to the trainer. It was horrendous. Whatever. Yeah, man. I mean, even to this day, I get headaches very frequently. I mean, there are times where they're just horrible. I never had. I mean, I never had that before I started getting the concussions.
Right, and we're talking, several years ago, and
at
a high school level. This isn't.
This is like 5. I think. Yeah, we're going on 5 years now, and I'm still getting headaches all the time. I mean, the other day I went home from work because I had just the absolute worst migraine. Like I couldn't look at light without just wincing.
Yeah, and that's scary shit.
Yeah, especially, I think I touched on, I don't know if it was last episode, but on one of these 10 podcasts we've had, I brought up the movie Concussion.
Yep.
And that movie is phenomenal. I mean, I read an article this morning about Junior Seau, and it's just scary shit, and I get it. It's a business. I understand it. And yes, the players do know what they are getting into. But I don't know, man. Something has to change where it's better. Again, the thing people tend to say is like, yeah, but football's a dangerous sport. Like, you know what you're doing. Yeah, that's very true. Like, I know that I have a gigantic risk of getting hurt, and but there has to be something better. I mean, a lot of players who even get a concussion switch to dark visors and shit like that because the light just hurts their head. Like I remember, I think LT did it.
Yeah.
He had first 2 seasons, some shit. He had no visor for a little bit, and then he went straight to dark. And I mean, even hockey too. There are a list of players I can think of off the top of my head right now who were like never the same. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I know it's a football podcast and shit, but there's a player for the Bruins back in the day, like 10 years ago. Mark Savard. He was pretty young, and he just got a big contract from the Bruins too because he's doing good.
Yeah.
And he had one hit, one concussion, one hit, and the dude was he could never play again.
Right.
He's 20, not 20, my dumbass. 10 years later, he's still talking about how, you still feel the effects of it.
Of course. And yeah, I don't, with the whole argument, like, yeah, you know what you're getting into, what you're signing up for. Obviously, everyone knows, concussions happen in the sport. But for me, it's the negligence of not taking care of your player and throwing them out there 5 days later because, it gives us a better chance to win on prime time. Like, fuck that. I remember Teddy Bridgewater took over for him last night, and he looked
Teddy
solid.
Two Gloves.
He looked pretty solid. Shout out to Teddy. But I remember 2015
Rams.
Yeah,
the Rams.
Right? You know exactly what I'm going with.
In here, I'm gonna be super quick. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zimmer flipped his shit, and the commentators were like up in arms about it.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You might not like what I have to say, but the hit didn't look horrible. Like it did not look like he hit him that hard. But obviously, in game speed, full motion, it's going to be harder than it looks in a replay. But I always thought that in the replay, it did not look like that crazy of a hit. But obviously, he was knocked out. So
see, for me, when you look at it in slow mo, it's more of the hit to the head and then the head bouncing off the ground. I think that's what made it such an issue. Like, because he was fully, sliding, totally gave himself up, and the dude launched at him shoulder first, hit his head. Okay, yeah, it doesn't take much. And he hit him in the head. His head bounced off the ground. And, he was the camera shot of them showing Teddy at his face. His eyes are closed. He's not moving. I remember watching it scared.
Dude, like I said, the hit didn't look horrible, but another one of my concussions, I was playing pond hockey, just skating, and I slipped and fell and tapped my head on the ice, and that did it. And it's just,
well, you gotta think there's probably so many people in that exact same scenario that have, gotten concussions, or even worse. It doesn't take much. I've slipped on the ice during pond hockey, and I've thankfully never hit my head, but I've had some hard slams, and I think about it right now, I'm like, who knows if I hit my head on some of those slams, who knows what happens. And I don't think I wasn't diagnosed with a concussion at the time. Like I said, I wasn't really checked for it. I remember one time during a game for football when I was playing, I was on the kickoff team and running down the field, and
that's always the most dangerous.
Yeah, I got hit from the side, and it was a helmet to helmet hit, unintentional, but I mean, it rocked me, absolutely rocked me. My ears are ringing, and I was laying on the ground for a few seconds before I got up, and all I told my coach was I'm really dizzy. I can't go right back in because then I was supposed to go on defense, and that was it. There was no checking on me, So I don't think it was a concussion because I didn't have any lasting effects other than a headache for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But back then that was probably, what year is that? Maybe 06. Yeah, probably 06, 07. They never even looked at me. They never asked me anything. They just, okay,
Yeah, that's
Take a knee.
yeah. Take a knee. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Antonio Brown, for instance.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I'm gonna just say I really like Antonio Brown. I mean, I liked him as a Steeler. I loved him as a Buck. I mean, I really liked him. I thought him and Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I never liked him, but since he got to Tampa, he's been okay. Like
Way
he's
more
been-
likable.
Yep. And then what he did for Antonio was very nice too.
Yeah.
How he like let him live with him in Tampa and shit and all that, and he, yeah, I guess in a sense, it helped him get his career. And again, in a sense, get his career back.
Right.
But when Burfict smacked him, I mean, I wouldn't say he was never the same, but these erratic moments he had, and
Oh, yeah.
it
He
just seems
started
like-
throwing furniture out of like the
yeah,
balcony window and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
It
point.
just seems like he has something. He has something going on. I mean, this might be a touchy subject, but hold on. There was a Panthers receiver back in the day. I think he killed his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she was pregnant, and then he hid out in a trunk of a car.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. This story sounds familiar.
Ray Caruth.
I don't recognize the name.
Ray Caruth. I think it. I don't know. I think it. I feel like I read something somewhere that it might have had to do with concussion.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I was
Don't quote me on that. That might not be accurate.
No, that's okay. I was gonna bring up actually, Chris Nowinski, that doctor I told you about. The first time I ever heard his name actually was when he got involved in the aftermath of the Chris Benoit situation. For any wrestling fans,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Chris Benoit immediately after. So, little backstory for anyone who might not know. Considered one of the greatest technical wrestlers in the professional wrestling business. All of his, colleagues, I guess you'll call him, said that he was one of the best there was to do it, one of the nicest guys, great family man. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, over the course of a weekend, he murders his wife and his young son, and then hangs himself. And at first, everyone, it's wrestling. Everyone jumps to roid rage, steroid abuse. And Chris Nowinski kind of stepped in, like, okay, who's heard of a roid rage that's lasted 3 days? So he started studying, Chris's brain afterwards, and he had been known to have a lot of concussions throughout his career. A lot of them. Like, one of his patented moves was he would jump off the top rope, and it was a diving headbutt onto the other guy. Fucks you up. And it was like the aftermath, looking at his brain, they said that his brain was resembled like an 85-year-old person with severe Alzheimer's.
That Aaron Hernandez. They say it looks like he had stage 2 CTE.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one that I most remember is Mike Webster, the center for the Steelers. Obviously, Junior Seau, which is very sad.
Terrible.
Mike Webster, I remember it from the CTE movie. Dude was living in his truck. It was just horrible. And I don't know, man. I think it's just sad to see.
It is, and you've seen careers ruined. Like, do you remember?
It's not even careers. It's lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Your life is just completely changed.
100%. And like, do you remember like Josh Cribbs?
Yup.
The dude was electrifying, but there was like 2 that I remember specifically where he was out cold on the field. There might have even been a third one, but 2 I remember for sure where he was unconscious on the field. and it, quite literally ended his career. And like you said, you look at down the line, all these guys who, didn't
Tyler
have,
Lockett.
yeah, like, concussions weren't a known thing back then. Like, as far as like, what we know today, and you see what's happening to so many of these athletes, it's devastating for them, for their families, for fans, and the fact that it's 2022 and we know all this shit about concussions, and now we have this whole debacle with Tua. Like, we rag on him, during our podcast just for fun, But at the end of the day, the last thing I want to see is anyone, but especially a guy like an up and coming star who's finally, finding his rhythm, to potentially have his career, if not life, severely impacted by the carelessness of his organization. I'm sorry, but you see someone stumble like that and reach for their head, it doesn't matter if they tell you it's their back. You take them into the tent and you check on them.
Yeah, you gotta. It's
horrible. You have to. Like, we've been without Harrison Smith, the last week, because he had a concussion, because he came off the field during the Monday night game. They took him straight into the tent, said, "Nope, we're checking on you." And sure enough, he was out for the rest of the game. He missed last week. And that's how it's got to be. It's just crazy. And I mean, I'm sorry, but Miami, they are in for a shitstorm.
Dude, especially after the whole tanking thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even out of it yet.
Yeah. This shit is they're in for a long investigation. I know the NFLPA, they are heavily getting involved in this. And Mike McDaniel, their head coach, I think that it was a stupid quote. He said, "It's good that Tua doesn't have anything more serious than a concussion." Like, I get what he was going for, but
yeah.
And again, I keep throwing it back to Chris Nowinski because he's an expert in the field, and he's been very outspoken about this since last night. He said, in response to that, he said, "I don't think this guy gets it. A concussion is a traumatic brain injury, and posturing suggests a brainstem injury. It's pretty high on the list of serious medical consequences of football."
Okay. I have 100% conviction in our process regarding our players. This is a player-friendly organization. There was no medical indication from all resources that there was anything regarding the head. Okay.
Yikes.
Shut up, man.
Yeah, absolutely not. And
How's Tua? He has a headache. All right, fuck you.
And oh my goodness, so my one complaint with Amazon and how they handled it on Prime, they showed that replay way too many times.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the clip on YouTube. I mean, obviously you're gonna, but
I mean, they showed that replay over and over and over again. All of these, like, so many of, like, the NFL players were all over Twitter too. Like, stop showing the replay. J.J. Watt was like the first one that I saw. He's like, please stop showing the replay. They kept doing it. Like, you know how, like, when you see, like, one of those, graphic injuries, someone breaks their leg and it's just horrific looking. They show it, like, once and then they're like, okay, they'll either warn you before they show it again or they just don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of players saying that too. I see that.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I don't know, man. It's horrible, and they get whatever they have coming to them.
Yeah. And then I know Shannon Sharp had a little heat thrown his way for a tweet. I get his reasoning. He had to delete it, but I mean, everyone saw it and saved it. He said, like, right after the injury, he said, "Wonder if," with like a asterisk next to it, "Tua/Dolphins call this a back injury. Can't wait to hear the diagnosis." everyone kind of jumped down his throat because that was immediately after, and like saw how serious it was, and he deleted the tweet and apologized.
I don't really think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I totally understand what he was going for.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that because they bullshitted him they bullshitted the world the first time.
Right.
So why wouldn't they do it again? Oh, because he had to go to the hospital. But if he was just on the ground knocked out and got up eventually, would say it again?
Yep. Yeah, and then like even like right before that, or it was either right before or like immediately after, he tweeted out, he said, "That's a serious injury. Tua shouldn't have been out there with Sunday, Thursday turnaround. Sometimes players need protecting from themselves. Dolphins failed Tua." 100% true.
Did. Dude, and I mean it's not the same, but like I guess again, it's not the same at all by any means. But Herbert was Staley. Why is Staley keeping hurt Herbert in? Why are the Dolphins keeping a hurt Tua in? These players are so young. Why are you just trying to sandbag your franchise?
Right. And I don't, when I say this, I don't mean to, sound it insensitive. It's like how they're thinking. Yeah, they're so young and the season's so early. You're risking this guy's health for a week 4 game. You'd almost expect like a team to be dirty and do that, week 15, and we need to get this momentum, which is still horrible. But my point is, you're risking this dude's health for a football game when his life is so much more important than a football game and what he can do on a field.
Oh, yep. Keenan Allen out week 4. Donald Parham and Corey Linsley are both questionable. Sick. I just got that notification. Sorry.
Oh gosh. Yeah. On to another subject.
Dear God, we're not even gonna. No, whatever. Bullshit. Injuries suck. Dolphins, you guys are dumb. You guys are mean. You guys are horrible. You guys are selfish. You guys suck. NFL, you suck. You need to fix your shit.
And it's like, how fitting was it that Roger Goodell was in attendance when it happened?
Yeah, that's. I mean, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I'm just going to say, I hope you enjoyed the show there, Roger, because that's your league.
How did he even become commissioner? And how is he commissioner for this long? Like, who picks?
I don't even know.
I always thought that. I was like, it seems like a mystery.
How long has this man been booed off stage at the NFL draft?
I mean, at this point, it's just a meme.
It's just a tradition. Yeah.
He embraces it now.
Yeah. But, yeah, yikes. Last night was hard to watch, and we felt that it was important that we got on here and talked more about it. We
Oh, dear God, dude. Goodell's contract was extended 2 more years.
Oh, God.
Dear Lord. He gets paid $128 million.
Not surprised.
Roger Goodell is seeking $50 million salary plus a private jet for life and new contract. Dear.
Wait, is that actually true?
God. Yeah.
A private jet for life?
Yep.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. How long has he been commissioner?
I feel like it's been a while.
How long has Roger Goodell been commissioner? He started in 2006. Are you shitting me?
Honestly, I would have thought it was longer.
I thought it, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I would have thought it was longer, too. That's crazy, bro.
That is crazy.
I want a private jet for life. All right, man.
What a fucking... Oh,
calm down. What do you even do?
What a pretentious thing to ask for. Or demand,
I
should say.
I mean, shit. If you were like, can I get $5 million plus a private jet for life? I would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that makes, it makes sense in a way for money-wise that it kind of equals out, but...
Well, hey, maybe we shouldn't be shocked by this, because as we've talked about in another episode, this is the... Allegedly, the same guy who, cut the power in the Super Bowl.
Hey, man. How you think he's got to afford that private jet somehow?
Right.
How I mean, I'm willing to bet something that Goodell is low key betting under the table.
Allegedly. This is all speculation.
Allegedly, we don't have any proof.
No, this
of
is all
anything.
speculation.
Goodell just texted me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He
What
said
up,
you want.
Raj?
He said you want in on this parlay. No, oh shit. We got to cut the podcast.
Hashtag exposed.
Hashtag fuck the Dolphins.
That's about, the most appropriate thing of the day.
As you noticed, there was no Tua slang thrown in there.
No. Yeah.
Prayers up for Tua.
Absolutely.
But you better believe next Wednesday, I'll be throwing it out there a little bit if he's healthy. If he starts. Do they start him? Do you think they're ballsy enough to start him?
There's no way. No way.
What if, man? I mean, he has 10 days.
There's oh God. There will be hellfire rained down on them if they do.
I feel like low key they would if they could get away with it.
But there's no way that they can, so
the fans would just tear them apart.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, fuck the Dolphins.
Yeah. Guys, I know this is a little different than our usual podcast, not as goofy banter and not talking about our teams here, but this is a very relevant topic coming out of last night. I felt like we really needed to dive a little deeper and talk more about it because, yeah, it's bullshit that it happened. And, like I said, we rag on, players all the time with the nicknames. And it's, yeah, we both totally know that that's just not appropriate right now. And we wish him all the best. And I hope that we get to see him again healthy. We don't know how serious it is. I mean, it hasn't even been 24 hours. But NFL, you got to do better. You got to fucking do better. I think some heads are going to roll on this one. We're going to see some people lose their jobs. We're going to see
more draft picks lost.
Draft picks lost. A lot of fines handed out.
Didn't they already lose a draft pick because of the whole tanking thing?
I believe they did, yeah. And depending how serious, we're going to see some lawsuits, depending on how serious it ends up with, his career going forward. It's such an unfortunate situation in 2022.
Yeah, 2023 first-round draft pick and 2024 third. They got forfeited.
Well, they might be giving up a lot more than that.
Oh, they definitely will.
Yeah, and obviously, as things progress and we find out more and what's going on, we'll definitely touch on it more in the future podcasts. I gotta say, it's kind of a shame that our first bonus episode
is such a
has to be about something so serious instead of something lighthearted and goofy, but it's important, so we had to get on here and talk about it.
Yeah, prayers up for Tua. Hope he recovers.
Absolutely.
Quick.
Absolutely. NFL, do better.
Roger Goodell, suck a dick.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm not saying I actually saw it happen, but I think I saw it happen.
I'm not saying I didn't.
Not saying I didn't, but I'm not saying I did either.
Exactly. Well, everyone, thank you guys for tuning in to this little break from the norm, and let us know your guys' opinions and what you guys think's gonna happen in the comments on YouTube if you listen on there. Love to have a discussion and see what everyone's thinking as far as punishment and the process going forward. And we'll hope everyone enjoys the games this weekend. Prayers up for everyone staying healthy.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's probably not going to happen.
No, it's not. Fuck you.
I meant going forward.
Yeah, whatever. It already happened.
I didn't mean it as a diss.
The pain is already here. You and Roger go suck a dick, allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, well, we will see you guys next week for the usual episode of the SkolNBolts Podcast. I am Zaffa, he is Cactus, and we love you guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
Adios.
And it goes a little something like.